and you can be investing and you're like putting money into these different places like every month. You're not just like shooting from the hip being like, all right, I got all this money. Let's do something with it.
Welcome to the Physician Sense Podcast, a podcast designed specifically for physicians, offering a breakdown of complex financial topics to help you develop your financial IQ, further your financial journey, and improve your well-being. Whether you're a medical student, resident, fellow, or attending physician, you're sure to learn something new that will benefit your journey. And now your hosts, Chad Chubb and Tyler Olson.
Welcome to another episode of the Physician Sense Podcast. I am your co-host, Chad Chubb. I am joined by the AI equivalent of Tyler Olson from the AI model. Tyler, how are you today?
That was good. I'm doing good. Yeah, still cold. But you know what? Like I always say, I'd rather it be 10 degrees than 90 degrees, for real. And people say that I'm insane, but you know what? I am what I am.
You would love Florida in the summer. It is 95 degrees and humid as heck. So enjoy your 10 degrees, my friend.
Yeah. The last time I was in Florida was in 1989. Or wait, no, 96. I was there in 96. And if I ever come back, it will be during the months of November and February.
Okay, yeah, that's a good window. Yeah, I think now this time it's nice now. We had a little bit of a cold spell. I know I noted that on one of our past recordings there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what do we got today? It's 67 and sunny right now.
That's lovely.
That's what I moved here for, that.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Quick update for our listeners and viewers. Again, little mini series here. We're not going to, again, it's not officially a mini series, but we're doing quicker episodes for just our last record last week, which was an AI. If you missed that one, you missed the entire joke at the start. Go back to last week's article or episode on AI and how Tyler and I will be replaced by AI by the end of the week. And then we got ours this week, and then we got one more for our next episode coming up. So today we got, I like this one, 2 common pitfalls for physicians as they transition to attendinghood. This is part of Tyler's other podcast that he had a topic very similar, and we're going to build on that together because sometimes it's fun to have 2 different thoughts on it. So, Tyler, I will let you guide us through this one. What are the pitfalls that you are seeing, my friend?
We could talk about a lot. For the purposes of our conversation, I had 2 in mind. One, the I deserve it now decision making. Your income jumps from 70 to 300. All of a sudden, your biweekly paychecks are $10,000. You're like, wow. I can do anything I want now. I can do everything I want. I've been holding out forever. And now I'm finally getting to buy and do what I want. I deserve it. And I totally get why that happens. The second pitfall is skipping the boring stuff. And these 2 pitfalls, they're interrelated. Like if you avoid both of them, that action actually helps to support the I deserve it now, like actually being able to get the things that you think that you deserve and being able to take some positive action. But yeah, the first one is that I deserve it now decision making. Like when I say that, what sort of decisions come to your mind right off the bat?
Big house, fancy cars. How close was I?
I mean, that was my 2 of mine. The other were private school, convenient spending, and just constantly saying yes to whatever, like whatever purchase, whatever thing you want or experience you want. Like, and the bigger house is probably the biggest and most common one because you look at that paycheck and you're like, hey, I got $9,000 after taxes every 2 weeks. Of course I can afford a $7,000 mortgage payment. And you're like, well, hold up. There's so much context to know around that. And if you get out of training and you're like, oh, this is I finally get to buy my forever home. Let's do it. That is so dangerous. Not from so many angles. Like, and I'm not talking about the people who are moving back home where they know they're going to stay there forever. But outside of that niche group, you're moving to a new place, new job. Don't be buying a house right now. What if you hate the job? What if they hate you? You don't want to like lock yourself in to a property until you know, hey, I'm going to stick around. I'm going to stick around in this city. I like this neighborhood. It's close to where I'm going to work. The commute is not 50 minutes each way. it's 15 minutes. Like there's a lot of factors that go into being patient, why being patient is wise. But then also the financial factors of, well, just because your paycheck can manage the mortgage payment itself, what else is there? There's other stuff that has to be paid for, like student loan payments, saving for near-term stuff, long-term stuff. There's so much detail to know before you make such a major commitment.
This is lifestyle creep 101, right? The biggest concern that we have usually is with this, deserve it now mentality is it's not one decision, it's the stacking of the decisions. For example, you become an attending physician, you see the big paycheck, you're just starting family planning, but you're not thinking about like cost of family planning. Honestly, pre-kids, I don't think any of us actually know the cost of family planning. Buy the big house, add a BMW or two, nothing too crazy, but still a nice luxury vehicle. All of a sudden, now you have a kid. Maybe you have two kids. Schools aren't great. You got to go to private school. All of a sudden, they start stacking. You also are at a spot now where you're like, we want to take family trips. Has anyone actually priced out what it costs to go to Disney recently? It's not cheap. It's multiples of mortgage payments now. So it's the stacking of these big decisions that can really hurt on the lifestyle creep. And mortgage is always the best example because that's the number that's probably locked in for a long time, right? You can't easily get in and out of mortgages. There's a lot of transaction costs that come with buying and selling a home. So on the I deserve it now, our biggest concern is just, you make decisions based on where you are in life today, but life will evolve quickly. And all of a sudden, you have this or you have this, or, even more scary, like, oh, this is my pay now, but I know I'm going to get paid even more very soon, right? I know this is going to happen, or I know this will be my bonus. And it doesn't pan out, or your RVUs didn't hit the mark that you thought they were going to hit. So, yeah, I don't want to keep using the term lifestyle creep, but I think there are certainly benefits to delaying these big decisions, even just a little bit, whether that's 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years. I'm not saying you have to go live in shambles, but you don't have to go buy the McMansion. Maybe you rent a little bit longer, right? We don't always have to go buy homes immediately. It's okay to wait a little bit. It's okay. You don't need all the fancy cars. You need something safe, reliable. I don't know if I said this to you before, but I always found it interesting. This is a hockey reference, but I always found it interesting when we'd walk by the Lightning players' lots, and you see the G-Wagon, you see the fancy cars, but then you also see the pickup trucks. And I was always like, be the pickup truck person, right? Be the person that has enough money to do whatever they want, but they're still driving that pickup truck. And I still believe, according to Middle Class Millionaire, I think the Ford F-150 is still the number one truck for millionaires, or the number one vehicle for millionaires. But that should be very telling, right? I think those are good ideas to live by. And even with these topics, it's not a forever. You eventually can get these things, but settle in, build that foundation, and then think about those next big steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the thing that the reason why the second pitfall, why it's related to the first one, is because if you do the boring stuff, which we can talk about next, then you really can't start making the decisions. And what boring stuff? What's something boring that you think is commonly avoided because it's like, I don't want to do that?
Yeah, the two things that came to mind for me were, I'm going to say insurance. To me, insurance is disability and term life insurance. And then the other one was estate documents. Now, I don't know which way you're going to take this, but when you say the boring stuff, I usually label those as the boring stuff that needs to be prioritized. So that's why it came to mind first. If I'm off the mark, it's fine.
No, that's an example. I mean, those things that are like, oh, that's not going to happen, or it's not urgent. The first thing I thought of was cash flow. Boy, when I ask doctors, do you know what your spending is like? Most of the time, they're like, no, not really. And there's this subtle resistance to like being like, I don't know if I want to know that. Just from like there could be some anxiety about it, but also there's some work that goes into it. Like even like we have an enterprise level account with Monarch Money, and so all of our ongoing clients have access to it through us. But it's not just like it automatically just spits out, being like, this is bling, like, all the information you need to have, because it tries to guess what the transactions are, but it's not perfect, like AI. And it will try to guess, but you have to confirm. And so it takes some work. We have a cash flow meeting that's specifically for this. It's gonna be like, okay, we're going to go through transactions and make sure that things are lining up and it actually is the spending that we think it is and that it's going to the places that we think it's going. So it does take some work. It is very, very boring, and it's not interesting like buying a car or buying a home or going on vacation or investing. And, no one wants to do it. But it's critical because, you got if you have like $18,000 in take home pay every month and you want to know, can I afford a $7,000 mortgage payment? You can't know until you know this stuff, this boring stuff. So that's what I mean.
Yeah. And to even layer in the boring stuff that I said, that's another one that we'll see, right? You get people that want to go buy the big house, but they didn't do the other boring stuff. Like disability insurance is expensive. Depending on how much life insurance you need, that's expensive. Do you have the other proper insurances? Estate documents are usually a one-off event, so I won't label those as like cash flow items. But these are all things to keep that foundation safe before you go into this next level of luxury living per se. You need to make sure that's all in line. And I forget who said it, but they essentially call it like dangerously rich or something, where it's like you make enough money that you don't have to care, but you don't make enough money to not care again. And I feel like physicians fit really nicely into that group. Really good cash flow. They know it. They can give a lot of yeses. They can do a lot of cool stuff, but they don't want to know. Like they don't want to lift that box and see what's in there. But yeah, I mean, we do cash flow spending. One is a part of every brand new plan, but every year going forward, we ask for pay stubs twice per year. We have budgeting updated, at least once per year, and we're always just trying to see like, here's that the amount of people that don't even know what they pay in taxes or their net number that they take home, and then see all those numbers. It's the most simple exercise, but it's probably the one that most people are like, I didn't know that, or I didn't know that went there. So whether you have a financial advisor or not, just taking the time to see money coming in, even go through the lines of your paycheck, see where the money's actually going before you have that net number, hit the bank account, go through that, go through your budget, go through what you're saving, go through what's going to the kids' 529 plans, all those things. It's not something you have to do every day. I like the idea of monthly budgeting to kind of go through and revamp things. Maybe it's quarterly. The farther you get out, the little bit more iffy it gets, semi-annual, annual. But, I couldn't agree more that you got to do the boring stuff. And the boring stuff is even more vital earlier on. You got to build that foundation, that first attending your first big kid paycheck. If you can get that organized and dialed in, you're likely going to build a system that you can continue to grow with now for decades, the rest of your working career. So take your time on the boring stuff. It's boring, but it's vital to say the least.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And then like, it's so cool. Then once you've done that, and I know you've seen this countless times too. It's like once you've laid the groundwork, once you've built the plan, and then you can actually start sending money to the places that you want. It's not just like, ooh, I've got an emergency fund. That's another boring thing. It's like cash just sitting there. Boy, does that protect to me, that sure protects mental health and investor behavior. But like during the process, when you're like initially building it up, you're kind of like, all right, it's not that interesting. But then once that's done and you can be investing and you're like putting money into these different places like every month, man, it is so cool. And you're actually stepping forward on solid footing. You're not just like shooting from the hip being like, all right, I got all this money, let's do something with it. So, and I know it's really challenging because doctors they wait a long time to do the things that they want to do.
Yeah. But, as you said, these are pitfalls and they happen quite a bit. And if you're getting close to one of these pitfalls or you're in one of these pitfalls, you can easily, work your way out of it too. But you got to do the boring stuff. You got to build that foundation. And then, like you said, when you check some of these boxes for the boring stuff, boy, does it open up after that. And you have a lot of flexibility going forward and you really keep your plan agile as you move forward then.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, this was fun.
Good one.
Little mini topic. I'm excited for the next one.
All right, my friend. thanks for the idea on that one, and I'll catch you on the next episode here.
Sounds good.
This information is for general purposes only. This information is not intended to be a substitute for specific professional financial or tax advice, as individual concerns vary. Please see a financial professional, CPA, and/or an attorney in regards to your own individual situation. Wealth Heals Advisory Services and Financial Planning offered through Vicus Capital Inc., a federally registered investment advisor. Olson Consulting LLC, offering advisory services and financial planning, is a state registered investment advisor.